Good morning and happy Monday, everybody. I'm so glad that you are joining me for Read Aloud with Miss Godfrey. Welcome back to our reading of Schooled by Gordon Korman. We are moving right along. We're over halfway there. You can see, just a little over the halfway mark. Today we're going to be hearing from Zach Powers. Now, we haven't heard from Zach Powers in a while, but if you remember, he was kind of like that original bully, the one who kind of said, hey, we're going to nominate Cap this year for class president, and it's kind of the mastermind behind all of the crazy things that happened to Cap. So we're going to hear from Zach again today. It is a beautiful day outside today, guys. I have my running visor on. I got my workout clothes on. I'm ready to go outside and enjoy this beautiful weather after we read together. So hopefully after you get your reading time in today, then you find yourself outside enjoying this beautiful day as well. All right, so we're going to be doing, again, Chapter 19 today with Zach Powers. And let's see what he has to say to us today. All right, it says, I saw a show last night with a bunch of scientists arguing over what the signs will be when the world is coming to an end. They talked about asteroids, volcanoes, and melting ice caps. Small minds. When Cap Anderson became the most popular happening kid at C Average Middle School, that's the end of the world. Especially when you consider that the guy he replaced was me. It was all because of that stupid dance. How could a hippie who knew less than nothing about parties organize the middle school bash of everyone's dreams? It's your own fault, Lena accused. You recruited half the school to bug him, and he turned them into an army of volunteers. She did have a point. With the exception of me and the hairball in chief, everybody was working on the Halloween dance, even the cool people. Daryl was hauling huge rolls of construction paper to the decorations people in the art room. Naomi was designing reflective mobiles to hang from the basketball hoops. Lena was on the committee to cover the bleachers with orange and black bunting. Even cheap paper chains were impressive when you had 1,100 kids stringing them. Wow, can you imagine over 1,000 people stringing up paper chains? Holy wowzers. This is going to be the greatest party we've ever had, Naomi enthused. I bet we'll get 1,000 kids here. And that's just the planning committee, I added sourly. What's wrong with that? Ignore him, Lena put in. He's in mourning because he thinks Cap stole his year. Our year, I corrected, and he's making it into 1967. You shouldn't be so hard on Cap, Daryl told me. Sure, he's weird, but he's the best 8th grade president we've ever had. 8th grade president isn't even a real job, I seethed. It's a joke, remember? Well, maybe it started that way, Naomi said earnestly, but Cap Anderson is the most amazing person I have ever known. I snorted. Anybody can be amazing handing out $1,000 checks. Now that had caught me off guard. What was up with all this charity? He gave $800 to the food drive in the cafeteria, $500 to cancer research, the same to the Alzheimer's disease. They may have called it the March of Dimes, but that didn't stop Cap from forking over $650. He even stuck checks into those slots of those cans designed for people to drop off their spare change. Mr. Kosigi had to be behind it somehow. Cap wouldn't be allowed to throw around big chunks of school money without permission from the office. Maybe the whole thing was a lesson about philanthropy. It bugged me. The 8th grade president wasn't supposed to set a good example. His job was to make an idiot out of himself and have a nervous breakdown. But no, the assistant principal had set Cap up for sainthood. Whatever Kosigi was thinking, if he was even thinking at all, I was the one paying the price. I was spending more and more of my time arguing with my friends, and all because of that dang hairball. Who's that hairball? Capricorn Anderson? My year. Yeah, right. More like my minute. How do you think I felt at lunch on Tuesday when I walked out of the food line with my tray and found Cap Anderson at my table in my seat? Okay, it was a big cafeteria, but I'd been working my way up to that position since the very first day of 6th grade. It hadn't taken me more than 30 seconds to look around the room and know that this was the place where the masters of the universe ate their tuna fish sandwiches. It was near the wall of the windows, but not so close as to get hot on sunny days. Yet at the end of the period, a shaft of light always seemed to shine down like a spotlight on the person sitting in the end chair. My chair, at least until today. Those filtered rays were shining now on the haystack of Sasquatch hair. I stared at Daryl. The gutless wonder wouldn't even look me in the eye. He was concentrating on the exit sign over the door, which may or may not have been a message for me to get out. Naomi was focused on Cap, which meant nobody else in the building even existed. Lena was the only one with the nerve to face me. Her look plainly announced that not only had I lost my spot, but I wasn't even welcome to pull up a chair and squeeze in either. Fuming, I turned away. Crash! It was a tray-to-tray collision. My split-piece soup sloshed onto his egg salad sandwich, his tater tots flipped onto my banana cream pie, and his Snapple tipped over, raining down on my shoes. I stared at the idiot as iced tea soaked into my socks. The last person I wanted to see just then. Who do you think it was? Hugh Winkleman. He stood frozen with fear, probably straining all those math brain cells to calculate how big of a wedgie he had just earned himself. Let me tell you, he should have been thinking it was going to be a huge wedgie, because I had half a mind to stick a booster rocket under his waistband and launch it into orbit. You! And then I took in the expression on his face, and it was like looking into a mirror. He was staring at his hippie friend, who now had no time for him, and I was staring at my friends. Same story. In a way, it was more depressing than anything that had happened so far. I, Zach Powers, had something in common with this loser. That had to be rock bottom for me. Still, there was only one other person in the whole school who was as disgusted as I was by all this hippie mania, and that person had just dropped his lunch on me. Sorry, he said nervously. I felt an odd rush of emotion. It wasn't affection, trust me, but Hugh represented an earlier time at this school, before the space capsule landed and barfed up Cap Anderson, a time when things used to make sense. Hugh was the one who should have been 8th grade president all along. Heck, if I had met Cap 24 hours later, it probably would have happened exactly that way. Then this would still be my year, and Cap would be nothing more than a walking bad hair day that nobody really even knew. Don't worry about it, I told Hugh. Listen, we've got to talk. He looked so suspicious that I felt a pang of remorse for the mean things I'd said and done to him since kindergarten. In all the years I'd known him, we'd never had a conversation that hadn't been a sham to lure him through a door with a bucket of ice water balanced on top. Sure, he was suspicious. Wouldn't you be? About Cap Anderson, I elaborated, and everything that's been going on. Hugh expanded his tunnel vision on Cap to include an inventory of the guy's table mates. He sneered at me. Ho, 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 it looks like somebody's been replaced. I swallowed my pride. Well, you'll notice that Cap isn't hanging out with you anymore. I was his friend when no one else would even talk to him, Hugh said resentfully, when you and your cronies were trying to ruin his life. Well, whatever we were plotting, it obviously didn't happen. He's practically the king of the school now. Hugh nodded slowly. I don't like it either. It doesn't have to be this way, I pressed on. He rounded on me. You are such a jerk. Whoever told you that the whole world performs according to your instructions? That's what started this whole mess. You trying to make poor Cap dance to your tune. Well, I don't remember you warning the guy off when he got nominated for 8th grade president, I snarled. Because I was grateful that the nominee wasn't me. I pounced on this. So you let Cap swallow the hook? Now who's the manipulator? You're just as guilty as I am. Maybe so, but I'm not stupid, he said hotly. Making Cap your victim just blew up in your face. Now you want him out so you can stick me in his place. It's not like that, I pleaded. Look, Cap's president. We're stuck with that. But there's still time to puncture the tires of this bandwagon before the Halloween dance ratchets him up to icon status. No way. Just because I'm mad at Cap doesn't mean I'm going to help you stab him in the back. At my table, Naomi leaned over and dabbed delicately at a ketchup smear on the side of Cap's mouth. I almost threw up. Oh, will you look at that? Hugh had been watching too, his face twisted with distaste. He said, "To be continued." What's that supposed to mean? Oh, nothing, he muttered, not quite meeting my eyes. What do you need me to do? I shrugged. Simple. The whole school thinks it's immortal. We just have to show them that they are wrong. Boom! That was chapter 19 of School by Gordon Korman. Holy cow, Zach has it out for Cap, and now he is bringing Hugh into this mess, and Hugh had a little bit of a conscience there. He's like, no, not going to backstab Cap just because you want me to. But then he saw how Cap was sitting at that table with all the popular kids, and he was like, okay, what do you want? Oh my gosh. Crazy times, y'all. Crazy times. Okay, I cannot wait to meet back tomorrow and read chapter 20. We're going to see what ends up going down. It's going to be so much fun. So catch me back here tomorrow for Read Aloud with Miss Godfrey, and have an amazing Monday, y'all. See ya.